Hey guys, thanks for listening. Just want to give you one last heads up. This episode contains spoilers for Star Wars The Force Awakens. This is your last warning.
This episode is sponsored by iTunes. Go to www.cheapseatreviews.com. Click on the iTunes button, purchase anything you want, and a small portion will go to this podcast.
The Force is strong in my family. My father has it. I have it. My sister has it. You have that power too.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is CheapSeat Reviews.
Hello, and thank you for listening to CheapSeat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good. This is episode 97.
Damn.
97. I'm going to stop right here and say we are spoiling episode or Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Spoiling it all the way.
We're going to spoil it. If you have not seen it, pause the show, go watch it, come back and only listen to this episode if you've seen the movie.
The Wookiee dies.
You have been warned, and this is it, all right? No more spoiler alerts. You have been warned. Spoiler alert. I am Sean Arad, and joining me tonight, Chad.
Everybody dies.
And Chad, and we thought Luke had daddy issues, Evans.
Ooh, yeah. That's kind of a big thing. That plays a big, really big role. Really brings it to heart. You know, really it really gets you right there in the center of the chest. Yeah.
All right. Corny droid. What, Logan?
I'm tired of these nerf-herding androids. Or sorry, nerf-herding stormtroopers on this nerf-herding planet.
That's right. And Sam, all I want is a handrail, Vector.
Absolutely. OSHA regulations dictate at least a 3-foot barrier between you and a fall of more than 4 feet.
Right. That's it. There you go. So
Han did not get that memo.
No, he didn't. So pull up a comfy chair.
He did.
Your captain's chair, and let's dive into this thing. Jeez, you got to just try to throw as much crap out there as you can and just see what.
You warned it. You gave it up. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, but there was no build up. You just screamed it like a nerf herder. You know?
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Well,
only they can use that word.
Yeah. This was 2015 Star Wars The Force Awakens. Holy flippin' cow. We finally have a good Star Wars movie. We've been waiting since 1983 for a good Star Wars movie. It's been a long time coming.
I blame Sam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much I waited my entire childhood for this.
Yeah. Well, we all did.
So now I can finally grow up.
Now you're ready to grow up?
Yeah.
I know this was obviously the first time for all of us seeing it, since this was the first time for any person ever seeing it. Chad, your initial thoughts, sir.
My initial thoughts. Holy freaking melting face. Like, I went and watched this with my wife. We went and saw it in 3D, and my unborn child. It was so awesome. My unborn child enjoyed it. He was jumping around in the womb. You could actually see it. He was that excited about it. He enjoyed it so much.
That's kind of creepy.
It was almost like a scene from Alien. Almost.
Yeah.
But seriously, I thought it was fantastic. However, thinking back on it, I mean, watching it, I was like a kid in a candy store. I was like, there's a thing. There was a thing. So I really thoroughly enjoyed it. That said, upon further review, the whole thing was, I felt like almost word for word, scene for scene, exactly like episode 4. Give and take a little bit, a few little differences. But if you think about it, I mean, the whole storyline about, Luke finding the Force, getting the lightsaber, there's some battles, yada, yada, yada. The mentor, Han Solo, Ben dies, Solo dies, and...
Well, Hans wanted to die in the third one anyway.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he kind of had to.
The actor, Harrison Ford, thought he should die.
I kind of agree to that.
In the 6th movie.
5, 6, yeah.
Oh, I don't agree to that.
That was Harrison Ford's thought. He thought that Han should have died saving in a heroic death. And George Lucas was like, "No, man, we're trying to sell toys. We can't have you die." So,
I mean, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I felt that this was a really good way it serves kind of two purposes. It reboots the franchise, but at the same time continues the franchise. So I felt that was kind of you could see that in either way. But furthermore, I really enjoyed the film.
Okay, Corny.
I enjoyed the hell out of it the first time I saw it. And I enjoyed it just a little bit less the second time I saw it. And a little bit worn off by the third time I saw it. Now, before you ask why I saw it 3 times, it's actually a couple of pretty valid reasons. One of my son wanted to watch it, and with it being PG-13 in our society nowadays, I didn't know what I was going to get into. I was pretty sure I knew what I was getting into, so I watched it once for him before we went and saw it as a family. And then I watched it once with the guys from the podcast. And for the most part, when I say it diminished a little bit, I mean, I saw it 3 times in literally 3 days. It's still a great movie. It was fun. As Chad said, it was so cool to watch all the old nods to things that if you'd watched the first 3, you would have been very familiar with. And I guess there's things we're going to talk about, but I really enjoyed this film, and would I see it a 4th time? Well, yeah, I'm going to give it a couple days, but if I want to see it again, I certainly would. But I think I think this is going to be a pretty interesting conversation we have about this movie. And Hans dead. Just throw it out.
Did you like
You're going to say that like 12 more times.
He did.
Wookiee hair. I didn't know that Wookiee hair burns purple. I mean, I felt that was, I felt that that's something that we really need to discuss at one point in time during this evening.
What are you talking
I never even noticed what color it burned when he got shot.
It burns purple?
I've been telling people that do you know that Wookiee hair burns purple? Shut up! I hate you! Why would you tell me that?
Nice.
I actually thought you noticed that the hair actually burned.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was
he
like,
got
shot.
Because he does get shot, yeah. Don't worry. The Wookiee lives.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Chad, by the way, I think Chewbacca had a Vegeta moment.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Well, it was...
That's it. Everybody dies.
Everybody's dead. Everybody dies.
Yeah.
Boom. Hit the button.
That was for me, it's kind of the most impactful moment. Not when Kylo Ren actually stabs
The hell.
Yeah, out of Han, who is his father in the movie. But it was actually Chewie's reaction, to this is man who has been my best friend for 40 years, who according to the books is the one that got me out of, I think, slavery or prison or something, and I've owed him a life debt basically, and now he's dead, and Chewie was upset, and like what I thought was great. I'm kind of stealing over, Corny, your thing here, but I thought was so awesome was that he's a Wookiee, like it's a mask, it's a dude in a suit, right? But you still knew the emotion, like I thought that was really well done. Like you knew what was happening, even though it's not like he has the full range of facial features to give you emotion. It was really great scene. Were you done, Corny? I'm sorry.
Oh no, yeah.
Okay, Sam.
Um, it's hard to describe this movie. We went into this thing. I went in for pure entertainment. I wanted to have that experience wash over me again, like it happened with the first trilogy, and it got really really close. J.J. Abrams is a master of taking something and inputting nostalgia and familiarity and making it fun to watch. I gotta give him that. The only thing I could say that was possibly missing from this was just that little bit of heart that the original had. And when I do say something about this movie, please understand that it is. If I'm complaining, it's not a major complaint because I love this movie. I think it's wonderful. I can't wait to see it again. But having the Cheap Seat Review glasses on, I know that I need to at least bring out a few things. And the biggest thing, obviously, in this movie, we've already spoiled the heck out of it. When Han dies, it didn't hit me. It didn't hit me as, oh my God, this is the iconic character. The rascal himself has just succumbed to death. I didn't buy the story of the son and the father there, or the son and the father and mother, obviously, including Leia herself. It just didn't seem fully fleshed to me. And I don't know if dialogue would have helped a little better there or what, but I just didn't get the impact it should have. Kind of like when when you realize that Luke Skywalker is Darth Vader's son.
Son of a.
They took a movie and a half or 3.75 to build that entire thing up. So I don't know if that hit me. I agree with you, Sean. The Wookiee reaction, Chewbacca's going off, hit me more than the actual death itself.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to hand it. The Rey and Finn were a heck of a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed getting to know those new characters without getting too nostalgic or too, I don't know, bogged down in the old stuff. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed the newness of all that. And I read somewhere online, I totally agree with this one reviewer who said they were glad that Luke Skywalker didn't show up until the very last frame because he would have been his character would have taken over. Because this, Star Wars is Luke Skywalker. It'll be interesting to see where this goes. Obviously, this is not the end of the saga, for sure. But to make this movie a vehicle for, and I thought especially Rey, was especially brilliant because now she can kind of stand on her own and share screens with Luke Skywalker, and we still be interested in what she has to tell us. But it's a beautiful film. Feels like the original trilogy. It's very real world centric. It feels like you could actually be at all these places, unlike the prequels. And I don't know. My hand's off to JJ. I think he did an amazing job. But like many of his other films, I just think it lacked a little bit of that character heart, that the reasons why you really cheer for some of the folks.
Did you say your hands are off to JJ?
My hand?
Know what you said?
Hands?
Your hands are off?
No, but I think you said hat, but this is actually better.
That's what it sounded like you said.
My hands off to hats off to JJ.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You were channeling your inner George Lucas, like, I got to cut my hand off,
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's up with all the daddy issues in Star Wars?
It's either daddy issues or cutting limbs
Good
off.
Lord.
Yeah.
I tell you.
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. It's kind of interesting because in Star Trek, there's some daddy issues too, now that I think about it. Like father-son issues, not like daughter-father issues. Because Spock has issues kind of with his dad.
Because was anybody else interested in why in the world this Ren guy, what is his name? Oh, God.
Kylo Ren
is so mad at his parents to turn to the dark side.
Because he's a teenager.
I am more interested in that than I am you know,
And we might find out later why.
I hope so. Yeah, I want to know. I
mean-
want to know. Was Hans a bad dad?
Well, we'll have to find out. For what it's worth, I have already read that everyone that was in this movie is in the next one. And
Everyone?
I mean everyone. So if that means that Harrison Ford is going to come back as a flashback,
Yeah.
you know, of his interactions with Kylo Ren, you know, Ben Solo,
Well,
which is his name.
I was gonna say I know what happened. He spanked first.
Is that what it was? It's like corporal punishment.
That makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
So for me, I really just I loved it. I really did. I embraced this like an old friend. You know, it was from the beginning to the end. I was 12 again watching episode 4 for the first time with my dad. You know, like it had the right feel. The soundtrack was flipping awesome. John Williams still has it in him, and he's like 93 years old, and he's still writing great music. The nostalgia part was fine. You know, yeah, like oh hey, he found the game that Luke has to play with the lightsaber and the ball that shoots at him. Like they found that was funny, and there was a lot of other little nods throughout that JJ's good at doing.
Yes.
To kind of remind us of the old times and stuff. And I thought that stuff was great. Some things though that once you kind of start to dissect the movie a little bit, I mentioned after with the viewing, and I've mentioned it with some friends today at work. We were talking about it, that it kind of reminded me of like a single player quest game. You know, it's like here comes an obstacle. Oh, and then here's the thing to get rid of the obstacle. Oh, here comes TIE fighters. Oh, don't worry. There's a junkyard that just happens to have the Millennium Falcon in it. Oh, we get the Millennium Falcon. Oh, now it doesn't work? That's okay. The guy that owns it's just going to happen to be in this part of the galaxy to come by and fix it. Oh, well then you need to have the Force awaken inside you. That's okay. Here's Luke Skywalker's lightsaber in a basket underneath this house for some reason. Like all of these things just kind of lined up. It was a little too perfect. And you know, and some nerd somewhere was probably saying, well, that's the Force, you know, engineering things. No, it's no. The script needed them to be near each other.
It's called convenience.
We didn't.
Point of order.
Yeah.
Point of order. What is Star Wars: The Force Awakens?
What do you mean?
For those of us that live under a rock inside, some alien being, we need to know what this is.
Well, it is 3 decades after the defeat of the Galactic Empire, a new threat.
Oh, come on, you can do it better than that.
3 decades.
3 decades.
3 decades after the defeat of the Galactic Empire, a new
The
threat
lack of
arises.
impression.
What? You gonna let me
The
read
lack
this?
of impression fills me.
The First Order attempts to rule the galaxy, and only a ragtag group of heroes can stop them. Along with them, the help of the Resistance. Oh, that's
There is this long.
That doesn't sound quite right.
not very well written.
Thank you, IMDb.
Yeah, I think IMDb to ruin Star Wars.
Ruined it all with the description.
No, but their website's pretty cool for it.
Yeah.
I will say that, and the poster is pretty cool too. So that's what this is. So the concept is that 30 years, the Galactic Empire is destroyed, right? The Emperor's dead, the Death Star's blown up, and then the Republic is reformed.
With a nasty redheaded guy.
What? The nasty
The
redhead?
leader of the First Order guy was redheaded.
Yeah, of the First Order, not the Republic.
That's what I said.
That's not.
First Order.
Oh my God. Is this how it's going to be tonight? What do you, Sam? Okay.
What?
Anyway, the Republic, is ruled by the Senate like it was meant to be, and then for some reason they allowed the First Order to kind of gain power and whatever, and built a giant planet-destroying planet.
That can harvest a
star.
Sun. A star.
So that brings me to my first kind of issue, I guess you want to call it, with this movie. So this planet gun, right? sucks out a star and then shoots this high energy across the galaxy and is able to blow up a bunch of planets.
Uh-huh.
But don't you think it would run out of ammo real fast?
Namely, the sun it's sucking up?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if we killed our star now, our sun, Earth would be dead in 8 minutes. We would be dead. We would be frozen. That would be end of life on this planet in 8 minutes.
Let it go.
So-
Let it go.
So,
Oh, wait.
but that just seems kind of short-sighted. Like, can this planet move? Like, can it move to go harvest other stars? Or is it just the planet that's in orbit around another star? And in which case, you pretty much can do this once. So
Yeah.
that seemed kind of strange. And
Although,
And if you suck up all the star, then you don't have anything for something to orbit. So then the planets no longer orbit; they just kind of float
right,
in the direction that they were going.
right, but
Because there's nothing to centrifugal around.
right, but don't you think that would play like ridiculous havoc on the actual planet itself?
I would think so.
You don't think so?
I think so.
Oh
yes.
Yeah.
Physics tells us that.
But really,
Screw you and your magic.
in Star Wars, generally physics doesn't matter.
Well, we live in they're working in a universe where magic exists. I get that, but
No, it's like nanobots. They explained it. They explained exactly what the force is.
you mean midi-chlorians?
Midi-chlorians.
You cross Star Trek and Star Wars. I appreciate that. So that was kind of a thing, and even in the theater, I was kind of like, "Wait a minute, how many times
Convenient,
how many times can they do that?" But I also like the fact that they kind of made fun of themselves. Han Solo goes, "Okay, so it's a bigger gun. How do we blow it up? There's always a way." You know, it felt like they were kind of making fun of themselves a little bit. I don't know if maybe that's a good thing or not, but if you can build a chamber large enough for an X-wing to fly into and blow up, then don't. Anyway, but that's the Star Wars universe. They build these massive structures for some reason, and things can fly in them for some reason.
Heck yeah. Why not?
Why not?
There's also no railings on
anywhere.
Bridges going over chasms.
My gosh. I mean, once you just trip walking across that thing and you're dead. You know, whatever.
The workers' comp insurance alone in that facility has got to be sky high.
Yeah, well.
Well, they start to fall, and Kylo Ren just catches them.
No.
Put you back.
Okay, so
how about Kylo Ren's ability to use the Force to stop a freaking laser?
So that's what I wanted to talk about.
That was really cool.
All right.
Oh my god!
And it was a cool scene. That was an awesome scene. Okay.
Yep.
So here's so his powers seem to kind of fluctuate, right? Sometimes he was really great and sometimes he wasn't. So like that moment was awesome. We had never seen anything like that in any of the other Star Wars.
Darth Vader never had that.
Yes, Darth Vader was just blocking it with his hand.
He was Wonder Woman.
So
Wonder Woman.
He stops it in midair, right?
Yep.
And it looked really cool.
And holds it.
And held
it while doing other things.
Right. So that was genuinely amazing how he did that. But then he had a hard time using the Force against Rey and just trying to grab the lightsaber. So we just say that this guy who's been trained couldn't outforce the lightsaber that she hadn't been trained, but because of maybe her lineage, which we don't know who she's the daughter of. You know, rumor is that she's the daughter of Han and Leia, or maybe she's the daughter of Luke.
I think it's supposed to show that she has an unusual amount of Force in her.
Yeah.
And because like you said, she outdo a guy who could stop a laser going through the air.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive.
Since we've touched on this a little bit, my wife was saying, like, she was thinking the same thing, that Rey was a descendant of somebody with the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then that got me thinking about Anakin. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Anakin, who was his father?
He didn't have one. The Force was his father.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
So he was like Jesus.
Yes. Only he killed a lot of people and children.
A lot.
Here's your father's lightsaber. He killed 30 children with it. Yeah. Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
What?
Okay. I'm gonna have to look that up. Okay.
Look what up?
Because that doesn't. I'm having trouble wrapping my brain around the fact that Anakin doesn't have a father.
He doesn't. They asked in the
that's
Phantom
episode
Menace.
1 junk.
Yeah, in Phantom Menace, he says, Liam Neeson says, who was the father? She says, there was no father. I carried him. I birthed him, but there was no father. And so then he goes over and has some mumbo jumbo talk with Yoda, like he was conceived by the midichlorians. He is the one. He is the prophecy who will bring balance to the Force, which is technically correct. He ends the he leaves the Force with 2 Jedi and 2 Sith.
Okay. All right. So Anakin.
Fulfilled.
So Anakin comes onto the scene. He is Force incarnate. Okay.
Yep.
And
a bad actor, but yeah.
Sure. So given all that, blah 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 blah, he has 2 kids, blah 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 blah, and we don't know who Rey's parents are. The only thing we know is that she was just dropped off on Tatooine to stay with her aunt and uncle.
Although we are inclined to believe that her parents dropped her off.
Yeah, her parents dropped her off.
And were supposed to be coming back.
Right.
Right, Corny? Corny's the one. You're pretty much our expert on this, Corny.
Oh, you guys are screwed.
3 times into this.
So it looks like that they dropped her off on that planet, or they left her on the planet, whether they were there or not. In the flash, but there's a flashback scene where Rey is. She has touched the Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, which is a weird story in itself, how she got to it. And then she has what can only be described as an LSD trip, to which she has a flashback to her childhood. And I think she's being dropped off with the guy who's giving her food and whatnot.
No, I never got that. She's not. No.
Well,
the guy's hand
was beholden to the guy.
No, I don't know, but it just looks like.
I just thought it was just a hand. It was just some person.
Well, I looked today just because I wanted to actually see if the guy's voice sounds like the guy who's giving out the portions, and then it also looks like his hand. So that might be something worth checking out.
They would give their daughter to Simon Pegg? That seems weird.
I agree.
Anyway, whatever.
Unless they're trying to hide her for some reason.
That is probably
what a horrible way to hide somebody, though.
Well, it's kind of.
Let me drop you off on this desert planet where you will be forced to scavenge before you scavenge for food.
Well, maybe that wasn't the intention. Like what if Luke's uncle and aunt, Owen and Beru let's say they had died, when he was a child, then he would have been left scavenging on Tatooine. It was no different. The only difference is that his situation, where did that come from? His situation was beneficial to life. It was still on a horrible planet. Why this galaxy is so full of so many barren planets? I don't know. Seems kind of like you just didn't live there. Anyway.
Right, but I think this also plays into the similarities between,
Episode 4.
Between 4 and 7.
Well,
go ahead.
7 actually plays into it pays homage to all 3. All right, there's a desert planet, there's a snowy part, and then there's a jungle.
Yeah.
So it literally represents all 3. That was the point.
Okay.
So
I'll buy that.
Right, and that was
because I would like to see some different planets, but when he did the prequels, I could care less about half of those because they didn't feel like real places.
Well, they weren't.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were just sound stages.
Yeah.
I mean, this was the actual United Arab Emirates desert.
Yeah.
And an actual Canada. I don't know where they filmed the snowy scenes. I didn't look it up, but
Can we talk about the lightsaber just a second?
Please.
All right. So we see that this is Luke's lightsaber. Luke Skywalker, the lightsaber belonging to Luke Skywalker. Turn it on. Hey, it glows blue. No problem. Except that the last lightsaber that Luke did own glowed green. So where do you suppose that lies?
Well, he probably has that one still with him.
Ah, yes, that's probably a good point.
Because remember in Empire Strikes Back, he gets his hand cut off, and in that
With
hand
this blue lightsaber.
was the blue lightsaber. And there's in one of the books is the story of Luke's lightsaber and how it kind of somehow travels throughout the galaxy, and kind of you guys ever see Kung Fu Panda 2? You know how how Poe gets from put in the thing and then over to the thing and then the thing and then he shows up at the duck's house, kind of like that, right? Like the lightsaber just kind of keeps finding its way. Eventually,
like the lightsaber has its own.
It's like the
like
one
the red
ring.
violin.
Okay,
like the one ring. Okay,
yeah,
let's
it's
go
like the
with
one ring, right? Like it.
Yeah.
It just finds its way to someone that can eventually find its way back into a user of the Force, kind of a thing. So that's how
I always thought, and I always thought that only Jedis could use lightsabers.
Why?
I don't know. For some reason, I always thought it was just Jedi.
Doesn't Han pick up a lightsaber at one point? Yeah, he picks up one in Empire Strikes Back to cut open the Tauntaun.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Okay.
Now, only a Jedi can construct a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Because they have to make their own.
Right. Speaking of Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
Yeah.
I really liked the way that they portrayed the red, as it wasn't like this, fluorescent light bulb. It was more of this like almost fire-esque.
It was like him as a character, not quite perfected. I
really liked that, but the other part that I was like, that's really cool, but does it really have that much of a purpose? Was the two side things that come out of the hilt, and I'm thinking, is it really necessary? Other than the fact that it looks badass.
Well, it was different, and it made for a lot of really great memes.
Yeah.
With the Sith pocket knife, and it had all these little attachments that came out. The rumors that were floating around, and again, there's nothing concrete, and maybe we find out in the next movie. But you're right. When Luke's lightsaber turns on, it looks just like the original one, right? It just has a cooler sound and has kind of a cooler look, but it's still a solid blue, beam. Whereas in this one, Kylo Ren, he is not a Sith Lord.
No.
By any means. He loses control of his emotions.
Which is damn funny, by the way.
And in fact, if you think about the lightsaber duel, right, between him and Finn at first, for all intents and purposes, he should have killed Finn 30 times. Because Finn doesn't know what he's doing. He's just waving a bat around. But because he's never had a sparring partner, he's never had someone to train him how to actually duel with a lightsaber. So that's why, and this is kind of going through some of the trivia that I read, that's why in 4, 5, and 6, it's more like fencing, right? Because Vader, he obviously has limited amount of movements that he can do in that suit anyway. But it's more like fencing with them. And then in the first 3, it's way different. It's more like a ballet because they're all used to fighting each other. They practice with each other, right? Whereas in this one, it's more like, in fact, in this one it's
like two kids picking up a lightsaber and going at it.
Right. It's like between like the 4 of us just picking up one and trying to hack each other to pieces. Because like, and in some of the trivia I read, they didn't really they had training, but they didn't have a lot of there wasn't a lot of choreographed fighting in this movie. They wanted it to feel more organic, and they wanted it to kind of look like two dudes just kind of hacking at each other, because that's kind of what it was. So that was kind of cool. So A+ there, JJ, I think. Does that answer your question? I think maybe, Chad, for the lightsaber?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
I think so as well.
It just seems like with the cross guard, I'm looking at it right now, like it just seems like you could cut one of those off.
You could also
Because
probably cut your hand off with it too if you're not careful.
From what I heard, though, those aren't actual beams. Those are the exhaust from the
He used that to stab Finn
did.
in the shoulder.
Yeah, it's just like you would do with a hot muffler or something like that. It wasn't going to totally pierce him, but it was going to burn him. Absolutely.
No, that's the beam. That's
No.
What do you mean no?
I'm pretty sure I read somewhere where when everybody was complaining about the crossbeam, that there was no way that would work that way, and their explanation was it wasn't a perfected lightsaber, so that it had to have some sort of exhaust, and that's where the exhaust was going.
As I'm looking at this picture right here, it has a thing about the prop of itself. It recently constructed the crossguard blades, or quillions, are raw power vented from the primary central blade.
Thank you, vented. Yeah, that's where I read that.
But it's still a beam. It's not gas. It's not exhaust. It's not a byproduct of the lightsaber. What you're making it sound like it's a byproduct. Like, I have a bullet and I fire the gun, and the byproduct is the smoke from the burning of the gunpowder, and that's what the exhaust is. That's not what that is. It's still the beam. It's just aimed differently it's just a different way of directing it.
I disagree.
That doesn't make any sense. Why it would be exhaust? Why would it be confined to those short little things? Why wouldn't it be all over the place?
Because that's how they focused it.
Okay.
Through there.
See, you made fun of me hardcore for talking Trek stuff, and this is way worse than anything we talked about on Into Darkness. So I just want you to put your nerd glasses back on for a second there, Sam, and offer me
because in my Star Wars world, things like the Force don't have a scientific meaning.
But you're talking about a scientific meaning to a lightsaber. That's my point.
And you could say it's the farts from the Force fairies that come out of his hand every time he uses it. And you'd still be in your own right weird mind.
I have no idea what's going on right now, Chad.
I've not been paying attention. This is what I'm reading right now. And this goes to /film.com. The Force Awakens Kylo Ren lightsaber finally explained. So this design of the lightsaber evidently is a ancient design, and we don't really know why they're not using a more sophisticated lightsaber. But the theory goes to the fact that he didn't have formal training the same way that a Jedi or Sith might. J.J. Abrams has already told us that Kylo Ren isn't a Sith, so that would make sense. But at the same time, maybe this is a conscious choice to make his weapon more dangerous in duels. If it's unstable, maybe that's what makes him so intimidating. In trailers and TV spots, Kylo Ren has said that he wants to finish what Darth Vader started, but maybe part of that is getting in tune with some of the more ancient teachings of the dark side. In the new canon, we don't know much about the dark side of the Force, and maybe that's what the Knights of Ren have taken inspiration from. In addition to their worship of Darth Vader, we'll find out soon enough. So probably in the next one, if we think about how trilogies work, the first one, yay, the good guys win. The second one, all hell breaks loose, and then the third one, we get a conclusion, a resolution to the problem.
And by the way, from that same article, Mr. Sean, theories on the hilt with the new side blades have included the lightsaber being crudely built, which we just talked about, or they're merely exhaust vents for the weapon.
Well, if you read it on the internet, then it's got to be real.
And it turns out both of those theories are right. So just so you know.
You mean they're right?
That's what it says, last sentence. And it turns out both those theories are right.
Okay, well, they're exhaust vents. That's real dumb, but whatever. It's an exhaust vent. Congratulations.
I win!
Yeah, good job, Sam.
According to Wikipedia.
Is it Wikipedia?
Sam is Wikipedia.
Yeah,
good.
That's the official wiki for Star Wars.
The blade type has one main blade with 2 vents that act as a crossguard.
Therefore, making me right. So, anyway,
Okay, can we just
That
go
was
on saying
really,
that both
really long detour.
both people are right. A, it's a badass looking
Ow.
weapon. I think it's awesome. I want one.
oh, you can go to Target and buy one.
Really? I want one.
Yeah, I mean, it won't do.
I want that for Christmas. Sam, make that happen.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that the stormtrooper that Ray does the Force, let me out of here and leave the door open? That was Daniel Craig,
I did not know that until after the movie.
James Bond himself.
Really?
Yeah, which is kind of funny.
Dropping the lightsaber.
Yep.
Or dropping the weapon.
Dropping the weapon. There you go.
And I dropped my weapon.
Yeah, that was cool. That was great. I did like how she was kind of figuring things out. I thought that was pretty clever.
With no training. I mean,
yeah,
that's
it's just
pretty impressive.
So I mean, to more to that point is that she's clearly strong with the Force. I mean,
Yes.
there's obviously something, awakening from inside. There you go. We'll keep with the metaphor. There was a lot of Game of Thrones connections. You guys, I know Sam probably noticed that a lot.
No, actually, no.
No?
I didn't. I didn't.
No,
notice
what?
it.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you in a second. I have to get there. And it was a bunch. I'm surprised.
Well, the giant pig creature drinking out of the water when he came in there, drank out of the water too. That was interesting.
I don't think that was from Game of Thrones, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's from Game of Thrones?
Yeah, you've stopped watching, remember?
I've seen all of them, and I'm pretty sure I don't remember. There was no pig creature. Get there in a second. Hold on. Where is it?
This dead air is brought to you by
Lightsabers.
This break brought to you by exhaust vents.
Right.
Now for lightsabers. Make
Exhaust
your
vents.
dangerous weapon even more dangerous with exhaust vents.
Right.
Patent pending.
See, if they were really good, it would be like a Prius, like a hybrid, and they wouldn't need exhaust. There are 6 actors from Game of Thrones who appear in the movie. Gwendolyn Christie as Captain Phasma, Max von Sydow as Lord San Tekka. Max von Sydow was the old guy at the beginning.
Okay.
Thomas Brody Sangster is the First Order officer. He's what's the brother and the sister, Sam, who have little powers? They're from the Reeks. Reek is his name?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No. Reek is what's his name?
Theon Greyjoy.
Theon Greyjoy. No, they're the frog people. The
Yeah.
what do they call them?
I'll tell you a second. Johan Reed.
Reeds. Yes.
Yeah,
the
Reed.
Reeds.
So that's him. And I lost where I was because I clicked on his name. Damn it. Like I said, Max von Sydow was in it. Damn it. That's weird. Why did it do that?
Wonder why Daniel Craig decided he wanted to be in it.
Well, why not?
Trooper.
They were filming in London, and he's like, hey, I'm a big fan. Can I hop in? Like, yeah, sure. We'll put you in a stormtrooper costume.
Because apparently there was other stormtroopers that were hiding famous people.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Giordino, the soundtrack guy?
Who?
One of them?
I'm going to let you try that again.
Giocino?
Giacchino?
Giocchino?
Yeah.
Did you say Giordino? That's a pizza place in
Yeah,
Chicago. Giocchino.
Yeah.
I believe, right?
Yep. You are correct.
You're correct, sir.
Obviously, Jessica Henwick as Jess Tester and Mark Stanley as the Knight of Ren and Mitos, somebody, as Bar Patron. So there's like 8 people that are in Game of Thrones. That's kind of neat. Yeah. Sorry. Reading more. I can't read.
I was gonna say, part of, we mentioned it a little bit before, but the casual, I don't know, happenstance. The more I think about it, the more it does trouble me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, if you go back to the original trilogy, it did happen a lot. The happenstance.
Okay. Name them.
Luke going straight to Yoda on this vast planet of swampiness.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant in the first one, as in Star Wars: A New Hope. So you're
no,
you're
the
talking
original trilogy.
The original trilogy. So you're taking
Yeah.
moments from 3 movies and comparing them to the one. Okay. So
Yeah.
he crash lands
Ooh.
and he's feet away from Yoda. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, the fact that he was conveniently away from his home when Uncle Owen and Aunt What's Her Face get charred to a crisp.
Yep.
Just happened to be home. Happened to be away.
Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker are on the same planet.
That's not convenience. That's intentional. He
Um,
literally says, "I'm going to take him to his uncle, and then I will watch over him."
Ooh, the fact that R2D2 and C3PO get in the pod and the pod
Yeah, that's true.
lands on Tatooine.
Well, not even. The fact that they were just happened to be
they-
cruising Tatooine, and the fact that those soldiers
Jawas.
didn't not the Jawas, the soldiers didn't shoot it.
yeah.
Oh, there's no life forms. Must have malfunctioned. Well, shoot it anyway. Why not? What are you doing? So anyway.
Jawas pick up the units,
Yep.
and Luke gets them. Now, I do appreciate the organic way they got onto the Millennium Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun to bring them characters that way together. Trying to think.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a couple moments throughout the
Yeah.
first 3 that it happens. I didn't feel like. I mean, really, in the first one, to me, it's really just the droids. They just happen to be flying by Tatooine.
Yeah.
You know, of all the places, and well, maybe that was intentional. Maybe that was where she was trying to get the droids to anyway, and so when they got captured, they just happened to be captured near Tatooine. So maybe
That's a good point.
maybe that was the
Because
intention.
she's carrying the message
Mm-hmm.
to get to Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No, she's carrying the plans, which she's trying to get home.
That's
and
true.
And then knowing that Ben, I guess, is nearby is when she asks R2 to give them to Ben.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
How did she know about Ben? I guess her dad told her. Cinder Organa. I guess he told her. No,
But
that's
even
right.
the-
She does say in the message, "Yeah, you fought alongside my father in the Clone Wars." Yeah.
Yeah.
Corny, are you still awake?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Ooh, question.
Yeah.
Do you now that just dawned on me?
Uh-oh.
Is the fact that Anakin actually fought beside Ben, Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Clone Wars. Was she making reference to her real father or her adopted father?
Well-
Did she know
No.
that Vader was her father?
The script didn't know yet.
Ah, yes. I
You know
guess
what I'm
that's
saying?
right.
When that scene
That's
was
true.
written, the script didn't know yet. So
Yep.
I would assume that she's talking about her father, who didn't really fight. He was just senator, but
Mr. Organa.
yeah. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah.
Speaking of, let's talk about Carrie Fisher and the fact how she has aged poorly.
Yes, she has.
Well, yeah, she's got like that smoker's voice, and she kind of went on Twitter and some social media places and was kind of mad, at the sexist Hollywood making her lose weight. Have you seen pictures of her? Like, she probably like saved years on her life by losing weight. I mean, that sounds super mean, but she was kind of a big girl. So, good job, JJ, for helping her out some.
Well, when you're general of a rebel army, you tend to get a lot of food.
I guess, yeah.
Jeez.
I mean,
Come here, Han Solo. How about a kiss?
Mark Hamill had
Well,
to
she
lose
did.
some weight too.
Didn't she do a lot of like cocaine back in the like
Holy.
back in the day.
She did drugs. I don't think she did cocaine, but she did some stuff.
I want you to know the Star Wars Christmas special is on YouTube,
Oh my god!
and I watched part of it.
Isn't that awful?
She is so on drugs.
She probably is.
She is completely high in that filming.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Well, you
So,
know about all the
yes.
stress and stuff that she was under to stay underweight and, stuff like that for the role to remain quote unquote sexy and stuff. And they kept threatening to give it to Jodie Foster. And
She's making a ton of money. I don't.
well, she
Anyway.
wasn't making a lot of money back in 1977.
If you would pay me $5,000, I'd lose weight. Heck, if you'd pay me $1,000, I'd go on a diet.
Actually, I will take that $1,000 and then go eat a really expensive burger.
Wow, $1,000 burger. It's got like gold flakes in it.
Actually, let's see. All right, internet, don't fail me now.
Is there a $1,000 burger out there?
Oh, I'm sure there is somewhere.
The
5 of the most expensive burgers you're ever gonna have. There is, let's see here.
I don't even want to know.
There's one for there's $250.
$250.
There's $1,000 ice cream sundae.
What? Like
Really?
is the bowl made of diamonds?
Oh, a $2,300 hot dog from in New York.
2,300.
I would do it. All right, see you guys.
All
I'm
right.
out.
Well, have fun. The only note that I wrote, because again I didn't have my computer or anything to take notes for the movie. The only one I wrote because I thought about it today was Jedis are like a good version of Kilgrave. You can just say
pretty
things
much.
and people will do what you say.
I would be such a fat Jedi.
Oh my gosh!
You want to give me money to go get food for me?
Right,
No. Go get a pizza. Bring that pizza to me,
right.
and then pay for it.
There you go. Audible.com sponsored this show. You can go to audible.com
Can I now?
/CheapSeat Reviews, and you can probably get the audio book for Star Wars. They actually did an audio play for A New Hope, which I've listened to, it's awesome. It's actually really good, and I wish I knew.
Do you have someone in the back going pew pew pew?
No,
pew?
they actually do some sound effects. They actually get Mark Hamill to reprise his role, and
That's the Joker.
No, he's not the Joker.
Damn.
And they get Anthony Daniels to play C-3PO. It's very, yeah, you can definitely tell it's not James Earl Jones or Harrison Ford or Carrie Fisher doing their parts. But it talks about, there's like 3 or 4 chapters before Leia even gets her ship even gets attacked by Vader in the Star Destroyer. Like how she gets the plans. Like it's this whole ordeal, how she gets the plans and how she's helping the Rebel Alliance and stuff like that.
Well, isn't that what Rogue One's supposed to be? The movie?
Maybe, I don't know.
I believe from what I've heard and what I've read, Rogue One is it Rogue One?
They are making that, yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's how they get the original Death Star plans.
Well, that'd be cool. Because the bookstore, it's like there's a general or an admiral or whatever that's like,
it's a trap.
He's trying to buy her marriage from her father, and he has the plans. Well, she steals the plans, kind of a thing, and then he finds out, and they basically take him out into the woods and kill him.
Oh,
yeah. And then they report back, and so she leaves the planet, and then they report it as a hunting accident because he was supposed to go hunting with them. And that's kind of what leads.
That sounds really Game of Thrones-ish right there,
doesn't it? And that's kind of and that's what leads to the chase, is so that when they're leaving, they leave the planet, and then they go by a planet, and they have those things beamed to their ship, and then that's when that Star Destroyer shows up, and then they kind of have they chase around the galaxy, and that's when Vader's like, you're a part of the Rebel Alliance and you're a traitor. You're beamed here, blah, 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 right? So there's all that stuff that happened before then. So kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
Some more trivia for you. The production had a preference for using real locations, as we talked about, and miniature models over green screens and computer-generated imagery. So I thought that was pretty great. According to Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy, when Harrison Ford and Chewbacca set foot on the Falcon, Every person on set was stunned. Kennedy claimed that there must have been 200 people who were completely quiet due to the iconic presence of Ford and Chewbacca back on Han Solo's ship. I love stuff like that.
And then they done killed him off.
I love moments in movies when, like, the cast and crew are in awe of what's happening. You know, like
what else?
The
What
only-
other movies?
the only other one I can think of off the top of my head is in Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan. The director had never seen Star Trek before. He didn't know what the friendship of Kirk and Spock meant. So as Spock,
Whoa.
Spock lay dying in the reactor room, and the two of them were like leaning against the glass, kind of having a moment. The director looks around and realized the entire crew is crying. Like, the crew is literally like camera guys and makeup girls. They're all crying because they're sad that this friendship is about to come to an end. And so it's moments like that, like these iconic moments that when actually being filmed, it matters to people. So it's the same thing in this moment. It mattered that he was back on the set. I thought that's really cool. We already talked about that one. Both Brad Bird, who directed The Incredibles, Iron Giant, Tomorrowland, Mission Impossible 4, and Matthew Vaughn, who directed The Kingsman and X-Men First Class, I'd already turned down the chance to direct this movie because they were doing Tomorrowland and X-Men Days of Future Past. Actually, and in fact, Vaughn actually agreed to do it and actually said no to Days of Future Past in order to do this, but then he declined over creative differences. Reportedly disputes over the level of violence in the film and the casting of a female lead. He didn't like that.
What?
So he is sexist.
Yeah, I'd say.
Stormtroopers are seen using flamethrowers for the first time in this film. This method explains the state Luke finds his home during A New Hope. It's the only reason why that guy was there, was to kind of show you why that happened. And Daniel Craig is the Stormtrooper. That does things.
Nice.
Yeah. Soundtrack great. I just gave this John Williams is brilliant. That's all I wrote, because he is.
Yes.
What did we learn? Well, we learned that lightsabers have exhaust vents, apparently. You know what's kind of funny though, Sam, that now that you said that and forced it into my face repeatedly, that the gun, the drill that J.J. Abrams does in Star Trek 09 had exhaust vents on the drill that did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Huh.
I just thought about that because now that you use that word exhaust vent, it's so funny. He really did reuse a lot of stuff from Star Trek. The planet exploding in this movie was basically reverse of Vulcan imploding in Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
So there was some other moments too, but whatever. That's fine. That's all I got. Anything else? Oh wait, I did capture a couple clips. I captured this because I had to. Not that clip. I captured this clip.
Chewie, we're home.
Now, that's from the trailer. I didn't actually take that from the actual movie. And then this one.
I will fulfill our destiny. I will finish what you started.
That's right.
Bum, bum,
I do have a question.
bum,
But,
And actually, that
bum,
scene with the music that with what Sean just captured, it's not as epic as you think, folks. It's actually just an unfinished pizza. He's just looking at it,
yeah.
and Ray had eaten a couple slices, and he was just saying he's going to finish what she started.
Sean, the original or the very first audio you put on at the start of this show of Mark Hamill explaining the Force, that was not in this movie, was it?
That never occurs in this movie.
Correct.
Huh.
That was only for the teaser trailer.
I could imagine that being in the second movie, though.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
But it's another one of those things where it's like, well, I don't know. It just seems strange to me because you would think that with hearing that, you would think Luke Skywalker would be in this movie a lot more than he was.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be the new Yoda. And we didn't get Yoda until the second movie.
Yeah.
So he's going to be the one that trains her. So the next movie is going to be You know, the First Order has regrouped, and because they still have that big ass Star Destroyer and their fleets and stuff, so they're going to be rebuilding, right? And he's going to be with her on that island, whatever, doing some training with Chewie. Because she's now going to be the pilot of the Falcon, which is still kind of sad. I will say this too, Sam, and this might drive you crazy. I don't know, but in this movie, the first time since any of them did they actually do technobabble. Did you guys notice that? Well, if you take the compressor and then you plug it into this thing and then you do this thing, then you get and they're completing each other's sentences. But I'm like, wait a minute, that's technobabble. They never do that in Star Wars. They pride themselves that it's Star Wars. You don't think, you just hack and slash and kill people. Like you don't, you know what I'm saying? Like whereas literally in Star Trek, there's literally lines where it just says it'll have a line and then it'll just say insert technobabble, and you just have to make crap up. Well, the external inertial dampener has not been turned on, sir. Oh, okay, thank you. Well, like all that stuff, right? Like, it's not real. It's just making stuff up. But they did that in this movie. I thought that was weird. Anyway.
Well, there was always a problem with some type of converter. Luke had to go down to Toshi's to get some power converters.
I gotta go to the posi station to get some power converters. Why?
And then Han Solo had something about the motivator. The motivator was always wrong.
Oh, this one's got a bad motivator. Yeah.
Oh no, it was the R2 unit's got a bad motivator.
Yeah. Whatever that is.
Something was on the Falcon was always wrong.
Yeah.
And Leia ended up fixing it, and then Rey ended up bypassing
Didn't she like hit it with a hammer or something? No, that was Chewie.
No, she. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, Chewie just hit it with a hammer. Ah, shh.
Good job, Chad. It was a good cutoff.
Okay.
Just gonna wait for him to come back. Yeah. So yeah. Chewie hits it with like a little hammer or something, right? And that was in the 5th one.
Yes. Oh dear God.
The other thing that kind of made me he's gone again. I don't know if it was sad or whatever, but I mentioned this in
Still?
No, you're good. In Trek Into Darkness is that, and in this movie, the Millennium Falcon is a character, right? It's a character in the movie. It doesn't have any lines. It's not like, C-3PO has lines, but it doesn't have any lines, but it's a character. And you feel bad when it gets beat up and misused. And a couple times I kind of felt like it was a punchline. Did you guys kind of feel like that way too? It's like it kept crashing into stuff, and it.
J.J. Abrams loves to destroy his ships.
He really does.
He really, really does. He did it in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Right?
Twice.
Yeah. In fact, he did it 3 times if you count the kind of replica crashing to the Earth as another one.
Oh yeah, that one, yeah. The bad guy one, yeah.
Yeah. He just likes to destroy. On Lost, I remember several vehicles he destroyed that could have helped him out.
I will say this: the Falcon held up pretty well. It was cutting through trees.
Yeah.
Like this is a space vehicle. It's not meant to do this thing, but it held up pretty good. I don't know. There was a lot of that stuff that I thought was kind of interesting, funny. I don't know what the word to use. This. All right. We have to wrap this puppy up eventually because we'll just spend another hour and a half just talking about Star Wars, which would be a fun podcast in of itself, but not the point of this particular episode. So we just decided to put the 7 movies in order. We're going to go from least to favorite. Chad.
Least to favorite, right?
Yeah.
So our least favorite one, I'm going to go with 1.
Okay.
2.
Okay.
From a storytelling point, 3.
Okay.
From an action point, my third one is actually going to 6.
Okay.
Okay.
So from an action point, this is how my order is going to go.
Okay.
1, 2, 6, 3, 1, 2, or 4, 5, 7.
So 7 is now your newest favorite Star Wars.
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
No. Reverse. Put 5 and 7. Yeah, 5 and 7 in reverse order.
1, 2, 6,
Oh, I'm so
4,
confused.
7, 5.
Yes.
Hut.
1.
Oh wait, no, sorry.
Wait. 1, 2,
Omaha.
6, 3,
Carolina.
4,
1,
7,
2,
5.
6.
I'm with you.
3, 4, 7, 5.
I'm with you. All right. And also happens to be Chad's social security number.
No.
Corny.
All right. I'm gonna go. I guess we're going from worst to best.
Yes.
Worst to best.
All right. I'm gonna go 3,
All right.
2.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. 3, 1, 2, 4, 6, 5, 7.
6, 5, 7. So this is now your favorite Star Trek. Or Star Wars. I'm
Yes.
looking at my truck. I'm looking at my truck poster. Star Wars. Okay. Wow. All right. I wouldn't have expected that from anyone, truth be told.
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, there's the thing is, I guess maybe with Chad, it's so fun to watch this movie. Now, I did watch it 3 times, and it did, it was a little taxing, but it was just fun to watch, and there was humor, and it was humor that I liked. Stuff blew up. You had a little bit of as I like to say to Pate actually said about this, but there was almost a little bit of Will Smith humor going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, that's why I picked Droid Please as your
Yeah, that's true.
name.
Droid Please.
Or Droid what? Droid what? Like when he said that, I was like, "Are you kidding me? That's hysterical."
Yeah, I'm in charge. Calm down. All right. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like
That stuff,
he kind of was pulling a little bit of Will Smith, and I was very, very okay with it because it was so different than what we had seen.
It was unexpected.
He's so
in this type of movie.
Yeah, he is maybe the anti Mark Hamill in that aspect. Luke was always kind of this whiny kid who just wants to learn the Force. He's a Boy Scout. Whereas this guy's like, I know what's out there. I'm scared of it, and I want to get away from it. And now I need
he
to
still wants to get in her pants.
Well, who doesn't?
I don't.
Oh well,
her pants are tiny. I'm a large man. That would not work. Don't fit.
I have a funny joke to tell you off air if I remember corny. Sam?
All right. I'm going to put Clone Wars 1,
Okay.
2, 3.
Clone Wars is in the movie that we watched for the show, the cartoon?
Yes, cartoon.
Okay.
I'd rather watch 1 than those stupid Clone Wars.
Okay.
And then I would do 6, 7, 1, 2.
Okay, I missed 3 in there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Clone Wars 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought they progressively got. Oh God, I can't even call it better.
Less
but
awful.
At least less awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jumping over lava. We didn't even talk about being able to super jump. In this one.
Well, they couldn't.
No. But yeah, I still like the 4 and 5 more than this one. But by golly, this is up there. This is really, really good.
Cool.
So how about you?
If you're gonna do the Clone Wars cartoon movie, I'd probably throw that down there somewhere with. So I would say like 1, and then the Clone War thing, and then episode 2, and then episode 3. And I'm even gonna throw another curveball and say the Ewoks movie. There were 2 of them, Battle for Endor and I can't remember the other one. Those I actually put above 1, 2, and 3 because those were fun. So I'm putting those there, and then I'm gonna do 6, 7, 4, 5.
I think that's pretty much what I said, right?
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. Except for
Yeah, except for the indoor thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
because no one remembered those.
Oh, well, and if we're going that far, the Christmas special is going to go before the Clone Wars for me.
Yeah.
Well, if we're gonna go that far, I'm gonna say the Family Guy versions are gonna go
Oh
above.
gosh. Well, in that case, then.
They're-
1, 2,
yeah,
and 3.
that's way above the.
Yeah,
Sorry,
one-
keep
1,
my
2, and
order the
3.
same, and then do something dark side, and then the other one.
Blue Harvest.
Yeah.
Where would Spaceballs be?
Oh, jeez, that would
Where would
still
you put
probably.
Spaceballs, different universe.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, like we made but we made the joke about like even Star Trek fans make the joke that Galaxy Quest is a better Trek film than half the Trek films have been made.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think Spaceballs is better than 1, 2, and 3.
I do too.
I'll agree.
It's actually better Star Wars than 1, 2, and 3. Because like because what they're making fun of like is kind of tongue in cheek, but in those movies it's like they almost feel like they're making fun of us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, midi-chlorians, it's a thing. Stop it. No one cares.
No. Yeah.
I know you guys haven't seen it, but the Droid Tales, the Star Wars Droid Tales, which it basically retells all 6 movies, but in the point of view of C-3PO as Legos. It is hysterical. And they make fun of the movies, and they make fun of themselves, and it's really, really funny. Anyway, that's going to do it for us, for our show.
And we didn't even talk about BB-8.
Oh, BB-8 was cool.
Oh my gosh.
He
The big doughy eye that he had.
He had friggin' Spider-Man powers, dude. It was awesome.
Yeah.
He did.
That was voiced by Bill Hader.
Wow.
The comedian.
Makes it even better.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bill Hader, he is the voiceover guy for Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Huh.
Really?
He's the announcer guy.
How about that?
Yeah.
Simon Pegg would be our Star Trek connection for this movie.
He's like in all the fanboy movies nowadays.
Yeah, he really is.
Love it.
Yeah. He was the junkyard. He was the junker dude, which was great. Carrie Fisher's daughter was in it too.
Yep, she was like looking up at a computer or something.
Yeah, she was when the rebel whatever. Yeah. I had to remember this, but like I was like, wait a minute, why are the rebels so or the resistance? Like, why are they so outnumbered? But then they said they destroyed the Central Republic fleet on those planets, which was the point. And so I was like, shouldn't they have a better air force than like those 15 dudes? But I guess not. Anyway, that's gonna do it for us for this episode. So hopefully it was interesting and fun.
Please send us your thoughts.
Yeah. Is it an exhaust port or not? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
We'll put a poll up on the website that Chad can't cheat at.
Ooh.
Oh.
So speaking of the poll, that kind of came out weird too, didn't it?
That sounds really weird.
Yes, it does. So go to CheapSeatReviews.com. We are having a poll where you can vote for either one of the 4 movies, John Wick, Iron Sky, Troll 2, or The Last Starfighter. And if you vote, you may vote, of course, as many times as you want, apparently. Whatever is the highest vote when it comes time to do the movie, we will do that movie as our 100th episode. This is for our 100. 100. It's kind of amazing. And right now, Iron Sky, as I record this episode, Iron Sky is in the lead by a slim margin of about 150 votes.
Thanks, Chad.
So
I didn't do it.
So go to our website, CheapSeatReviews.com, and you can vote there for what we are going to do next.
You know,
Not
if
next,
we did,
for our 100th
if
episode.
we averaged about 80 minutes per episode, on our 100th episode, we'd be about 5.5 days talking straight 24 hours a day. Just so you know.
Nice. That's
Kill me now.
That's awesome. I appreciate that.
Just like, well, you know.
That's gonna do it for our show, I think.
Nope.
No? Oh yeah, out of 10. Thank you. I forgot. I barely used my script today because I didn't have a reason to. I just forgot.
Yep.
Out of 10, Chad.
I'm going to say 9. R2D2 will shuck things.
But he didn't.
And thumbs up. And a thumbs up.
The
And a
thumbs
thumbs up.
up was hysterical.
Oh, that was
Not from R2D2, from BB what?
8.
maybe 8.
8.
That's funny. That thumbs up bit was hysterical. All right, so you said a 9, Chad?
I'm saying 9.
Wow. I think that's like your
I
highest
really
vote ever.
Compared to a lot of the things that we watch on this show,
That's true.
Which is kind of interesting to think about because Kung Fu Hustle got an 8.5 out of you. Anyway.
Well, it just shows what I enjoy and what I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, because Wing Commander got a 3, so I like
Did not
it.
care for that, sir.
No, I don't blame you. It was kind of bad. Corny.
Okay. So I'm gonna give it a 7.5, but
This is your favorite now. Your favorite Star Wars, and it gets a 7.5.
yes, it is. I think it might have been higher had I not gone the last 3 days.
You need a little time for it to bubble a little bit.
I started to see parts where I'm like, you know what, this doesn't make sense, or I wouldn't have done this, and this is kind of silly, and so I think it might have worn on me for rewatchability. Now, I did the same thing with Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and I did not have the same feeling of it, getting old on me real quick. But no, it's still a very awesome movie, and I will. You know what? Actually, I take that back. I changed my 7.5. I'm gonna give it an 8.
I gotta retype. I mean,
Hit back 3
Oh,
times.
bless your heart. Have to push the backspace button.
it's hard. I gotta move my hand and everything. Anyway,
That's what she said.
all right.
Yeah. So 8. Yeah.
All right. Sam.
Just solid 8. Solid 8. It's a
Solid
good
BB-8.
flick. Solid BB-8. Yep. Enjoyed the characters. Enjoyed the new characters as much as I enjoyed the nostalgic, the old characters. So yeah, big solid 8.
And
Problem,
shout out.
the only reason it isn't higher is plot holes that you could drive a Millennium Falcon through. And there were problems with just being so darn. I don't. They were on a freaking planet that could blow up. That was the Star Destroyer or Star. What'd they call it?
The Death Star. Well, this thing
It
was
was
called the Star Killer.
Star Killer. Yet they were all like within 100 yards of each other the entire time. That bothered me a little bit. And the more I think about it, the more it bothers me that.
What do you mean?
It just
Muffin button.
convenient that they were so
Muffin
close.
button.
What do you mean they're all within 100 yards of each other? What are you talking
Well,
about?
just in terms of Han Solo and Kylo Ren and the Rey and Finn, and even though Rey runs off, Kylo Ren is still there, but it just the distances were a problem for me. It reminded me of Frozen, where the what's her name goes off, and the timeline is just kind of screwy.
Okay.
So,
I'm not sure I know what you're talking about, but okay.
yeah, 8.
All right.
8.
I had a blast with this, pun intended and whatever. I really enjoyed myself. And so I'm going to give it an 8.75 because it reminded me of what it was like to be 12 and to be in awe of what I was watching on TV and the magic of film and movies and things like that. So it's going to get a solid 8.75, which I guess technically isn't a solid because it's not a round number. But anyway, that's going to do it. Now that's going to do it for us. Right? Yeah, why not?
I think so. What are we doing next week?
I don't know. To be determined. You will find out on Facebook and Twitter later on when by the time this show airs, we will have an answer for you, I hope. In the meantime, you may go to CheapSeatReviews.com. Please vote. Vote early, vote often. We really want to watch one of those 4 movies. We will watch it. We will probably watch it together. I don't know if we'll do it live. We might do it live. We haven't really made a decision on that. But we will do it in some way, shape, or form, and it will be awesome. Also, you may leave us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, and on Google Play. So check that out. So if you got a buddy that has an Android phone, and you don't like, how do I get your podcast? I got an Android. Well, you go to Google Play, and it's there under podcasts. And then you can download it. Yeah, just hit subscribe. Please hit subscribe. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/CheapSeat Reviews. Follow us on Twitter at CheapSeatCast. I am at Sean J. Allred. At Saniji16 is Sam. At Johnny Darko16 is Corny. And at Maestro_Evans is Chad. Please.
By the way, I'm back.
I'll never check it.
Yay! Please send us your emails to cheapseatreviews@gmail.com.
Oh, there's one thing I forgot.
Okay.
Joe Pesci. All right, cool, keep going.
Who was not?
That was close. That was very close.
Yeah, you had about 40 seconds left to squeeze that in there. So good job, Corny. So again, on behalf of Corny, Chad, Sam, Sean, this is Sean saying good night. Thanks for listening, and may the force be with you.
Oh. So shout out to R2D2 immediately swearing at C3PO.